It always amazes me that the people that claim they are the least likely to actually fall for a scam end up being the victims of said scam. So today, while browsing through Telegram, I actually came across a pretty interesting article talking about this new pig butchering or pig slaughtering scam that has been devastating people in Silicon Valley. So let's go ahead and take a look at this crazy article. And of course, I had to go and look further into this to see if there was legitimacy to it. And I came across another article that goes into a little bit more detail about it. So let's take a look. Okay, so here's the actual article talking about this. It was written by Brian. I'm sorry, Brian, I'm going to slaughter your last name there, but Quarmby. Anyways, the title is Pig Slaughtering Crypto Scam Reaps Millions on Silicon Valley Dating Apps. And the quote from the person that was one of the victims says, "I never thought it could happen to me because I use tech." So right in the beginning of my video, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It seems to me that a lot of people that are in that space think that they are immortal, that it could never happen to them.
Let me tell you something. I am God.
And I've seen this happen not only on scams with stuff like we're going to talk about today, but in the crypto space, there's people who say, "Oh, I'm careful with my seed phrase. I'm never going to get my funds stolen. I don't need a hardware wallet." And the next thing you know, they get millions of dollars stolen. I was just at Cryptopia a couple of weeks ago, which was a cryptocurrency conference in Salt Lake City. And one of the guys that attended there mentioned that his friends lost over $10 million because they were not securing their wallets properly and left a bunch of permissions open. So it's anyone can be the victim of a scam. So you always have to be careful. And it typically tends to seem to me that the people that are more likely to be a victim are those that are going to be more careless and assuming that they wouldn't fall for something like this. So going down the article there, love the little artwork, by the way, with Pinocchio and of his little crypto coin there. But let's take a look here. It says, lonely hearts in Silicon Valley are reportedly falling prey to a wave of pig slaughtering crypto scams via dating applications. Now, I did look this up, and it appears that a lot of other sites and locations that are reporting about these scams actually refer to it as pig butchering. I'm going to go over that in a minute on another article, but I found it interesting that this article called it pig slaughtering, where pretty much everywhere else calls it pig butchering. Now, the pig slaughtering or butchering, and there you go, they use butchering there, is a type of scam in which an individual group puts weeks or months of work to build a fake relationship with the victim, metaphorically fattening them up. The end goal is to get the victim to invest in crypto via either a duplicated version of a legitimate website or by transferring funds to a dodgy wallet address. The scammers often shift the conversation over from dating apps or social media to encrypted messages services such as WhatsApp and put in countless hours of daily conversations to make their fake personas seem realistic without ever actually meeting in person in most cases. And the rest of the article kind of talks about how the FBI is basically getting a rise in cases, mostly coming out of Silicon Valley area, where it appears that these IT managers, these people in these IT companies, all think that they are not going to be the victims of these scams, that they're developing real relationships with these people on these dating websites. But surprise, surprise, that hot chick that you're messaging is just a scammer. So one thing I've learned in the crypto space, that if a hot chick is reaching out to you in the crypto space and has a massive interest in you without ever actually meeting you, he's probably trying to scam you out of your crypto. One person says, despite being well-versed in computer tech, R stated that the scammer's professional profile managed to win her trust by being listed as an alumnus of the same top tech university that she graduated from in China. After the conversation moved over to WhatsApp, the scammer worked for a month before finally persuading R to invest in crypto via a dubious website that swiped her funds. I never thought it could happen to me because I use tech. I've written software, which is, again, going back to that same theology that we were talking about before. Now, I found another article here on business.business.com, and I'll leave a link to both articles if you guys are curious and want to read through them. But in this one, it's titled, What is Pig Butchering? All about crypto romance scam that cost one woman $8 million. So it mentions here in the article that the name of this woman that lost this a massive sum of money is going by the name of Divya. That's, of course, wants to leave her last name private. I completely understand why. This is probably extremely embarrassing to come out about. But according to the FBI, more than 20,000 people in the US fell victim to romance fraud and lost a total approaching $1 billion last year. But Divya sadly might hold the record as the biggest loser to this growing type of swindle.
Welcome to The Biggest Loser.
Yeah, $8 million. That is just so much money. I can't imagine ever investing that much money in someone I met online. Even if it was 5 or 6 months ago, I can't imagine dumping that much money into anything like that I haven't vetted and trusted personally. But that's beside the point here. Authorities say the average loss per victim of the scheme is around $180,000. I would imagine this is because they're probably targeting people in Silicon Valley that have that kind of money, because I'm sure some of you guys watching are like, who has that much money to lose to invest into something?
Not me.
So the term pig butchering is from the Chinese, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that,
杀猪盘
as the scheme apparently originated in China. The con man, and it's almost always a man, as I mentioned before, builds a month or weeks-long romantic relationship with the victim through online dating platforms such as Tinder, Grindr, and Bumble. And according to Divia's lawsuit, the offender showered the victim with messages of love and affection to emotionally fatten them up, similar to fattening a pig. Also mentions here, a Los Angeles woman called herself Velvet Cat says she lost thousands to the scam. Scammers pretended to be attractive and wealthy, always too busy to see you. Have an excuse why you won't video call, text daily, and pretend to teach you crypto with a fake app they link you, she wrote. So let's get into the story of this woman that lost $8 million. She met a Jerry Bolasa on Tinder and began communicating frequently over WhatsApp. According to her lawsuit filed against 3 individuals, 2 banks, and 2 crypto platforms, Bolasa sparked and built what appeared to be a deeply held affection for and interest in one another, according to the lawsuit. Like in almost all their schemes, as the online relationship grew, Bolasa introduced her to transfer money to a seemingly legitimate crypto platform with promises of financial gains that through cryptocurrency investments. At first, I was like, hey, dude, I don't know you. I'm not going to send you my money. And he said, that's fine. Just send it to the platform where I own my own account, she said. Divya, who had some experience trading with Coinbase, researched the site and the method of investing Bolasa was suggesting, and it all seemed legit. And then the big quote here, of course, they put in the article is, we've had romantic scams all the time. Those are old, but in the digital world, love plus crypto is a match made in scam heaven, and it just creates a whole other avenue. Initially, when I was doing my research, I wondered if one could actually trade Bitcoin options, she said. And yeah, you can really do that. And I've actually done Forex trading. So I figured, okay, I've done this before, so it doesn't sound that fishy. Divya was pointed to an app and website where she could track the performance of her investments, and the scammers seemingly matched or added money of their own that would show up on the sites, and it showed she was making impressive gains. The problem, though, first surfaced when she tried to withdraw funds. What happened was, and it's something that common with people who are in the same kind of scam, is that the trading platform will tell you you have to first pay taxes on your gains, she said. And that's how they got the rest of the money out of me. Not by telling me to invest more, but by paying what's needed to get the money out. And that's what kind of emotional torment. They just kept telling me everything would be okay, and they kept hitting me with more and more fees and taxes. They knew I was getting scared, but they kept saying, don't worry, you'll get your money. By this time, she said she was mostly communicating with the platform and not the supposed paramour. Then, of course, the article goes into how the law enforcement is trying to follow up with these and get rid of these types of scams and yada, yada, yada to the end of the article. Now, of course, all jokes aside, these types of scams do hit a lot of people close to home. Some of you may have even fallen victim to a scam, maybe not exactly like this, but something similar to it in the past. And I deeply sympathize with those that are hit with these types of scams. As much as it may seem obvious to some people in this space, it sucks to see people lose out on this kind of money. Now, my personal experience, scams like this are never going to go away. Even though the world may be moving towards more widespread crypto adoption or other technological adoptions, there's always going to be some form or way that scammers are going to come up with clever ways to scam people out of their legitimate money. And it's kind of funny to me because if you think about how clever and kind of crazy these scams are that these scammers put together, if they just put that same creativity into legitimate business practices, they could probably make just as good of money and not have a victim in the process. Anyways, if you're curious and want to learn more about cryptocurrency, what it is, learn more about the DeFi space and how you can protect yourself, you guys are more than welcome to like this video so that other people could be aware of these types of scams. Subscribe to my channel to know when I produce new content that is associated with cryptocurrency. And as always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in my next video. Cheers.